to another Director's Cut. We are so glad to have you here with us. And oh my gosh, this month's topic is pretty awesome. I'm excited. I'm really excited to share it with you and have you guys hear this conversation because honestly, it's a good one. So I feel that way about all of them though. If I may,
you say that all the time.
I know.
This is my favorite.
But they're such great topics. Okay. So we're going to talk today about mentorship. And to me personally, it has been the biggest changer in my life to have mentorship. So what we're going to start with is who's been a mentor in your life? And maybe expand on that a little bit. Tell us. So I don't mind starting actually, if you guys
go.
Okay. So I'm going to actually start with, funny enough, when we were first getting married, we actually joined the Amway business, which, oh boy, everyone's like, Amway, but
stay away from it.
Right. They do have good products. I think they have some good products.
Sure.
So I still use some of them, but I don't sell anymore. Anyways, what came with that though was the mentorship. Like we were part of the Worldwide Dream Builders. And, sometimes I got annoyed when I think back, like how much money we spent on conferences and the different things that we learned. However, that being said, we did have major mentorship for marriage, parenting. I mean, it was where I learned about homeschooling. I didn't even know about that. Didn't know that was a possibility. How to, just all different kinds of things, how to have a good phone call. I mean, there were so many things that we learned. And so much so, I just assumed that it was a normal thing in life to have mentorship. And so when we left that business model, I was still seeking it out because I was so used to having somebody who I could share what I was going through and they would mentor me through that process. And I learned that is not necessarily a thing and actually got myself into some trouble with that. But I'm so thankful that we had that mentorship because I can tell you we're married today because of that mentorship. And where, our parenting wasn't perfect, but boy, it sure helped us to be way better. I didn't know how to parent. My husband didn't know how to parent. So having that immediately when we got married, I know it was a game changer for us.
It's amazing. Yeah. For me, I think I've had mentorship in some way, shape, or form. I mean, in the church world, it's discipleship. And that was probably my first experience with a mentor type relationship was when I just really wanted to learn more on the spiritual side of things. And being able to find someone who is older or wiser or knows more that can, and the woman who mentored me at that time, she was, so I think I was end of high school. So I was around 18, not quite 18. And so she was in her 30s. And so, she'd had kids and had life behind her, under her belt, so to speak. And so she, mentored me, and it was really, really nice because that's probably my first experience, and it was good because I know, if you don't have a good first experience with things, but I agree, it's something that you go, oh, this is a thing. And then when you don't have it, for at least in my experience, you start to either slip one direction or another. And so other mentor relationships I've had are more in relation to business. So starting my own business, when you start your own business, most people don't know how to run a business. And you have to, what you want to do, what you want to help people with, but how to make that happen in a smart way is not always intuitive. And so I have a mentor now. I'm in a mentorship program, and it's just amazing because it's pushing me to another level and getting me out of a rut that I've been in, even if it's kicking and screaming a little bit.
It's challenging.
But I like that. I like that for me, I have to have something or someone
Mm-hmm.
pushing on me to make things happen. So I'll do it if someone's making me do it.
And accountability can be mentorship too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For me, didn't have a lot of mentorship actually growing up and as in my early adulthood kind of thing. And now I'm just kind of exploring my journey and finding so many people that have put a positive impact on my journey and helped me navigate through so many different things. So it's important, but also allowing yourself to be vulnerable and open yourself up to people sometimes too. To be able to do so. So that's kind of where I've been in my journey with that mentorship piece. And there's pros and cons, kind of like you said, but overall, I think it's so important to be able to have that because it does create that accountability and it helps you. A lot of people, you don't have to recreate the wheel though for so many things because some people may have already tried certain things like, okay, hey, this has already worked and that kind of thing, or it didn't work. And, teaching new technologies, different methods of different things. So it's super important. And I appreciate all the people that have mentored me. That's such a beautiful way to sound, so.
There's so many different aspects too. I mean, we've mentioned like professional and of course personal parenting. There could be financial and spiritual. And I've had mentors on different levels that I benefited from. I think, spiritual. I think we did call it mentor, even though it was, discipleship is more the term. And then with home-based businesses, you get those coaches where you teach the next level what you've already learned and how to grow that business, and that has been good. And then just looking up to someone, I think in health and fitness, my mentor does not know I exist, but I always go to these like 3 doctors on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I am learning from them, and I'm a disciple of them. What did they try? What do they say? And I trust them. And, it's made a huge impact in my life.
Yeah.
And then I think too about times when I have been the mentor, instead of a mentee, right? So it goes both ways. So I think if you have this growth mindset, one of the great ways to learn is in this relationship where you respect and trust the person and can really grow from their experiences and knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And I love what you said, because you can have distance mentorship. Like when we were first learning to parent, we didn't know how to, we just did, all we knew is we didn't want to do things the way our parents did. They did the best they could. We totally get that, but we knew we wanted to do something different. And so we read books. We read a ton of books. And, in addition to the mentorship that we had, sometimes the books sucked. I will
You learn from that too.
Yep. And sometimes they were amazing. So I love that.
Well, and I thought you brought up a good point, Madeline, that, we have we're in an era of influencers as being people we can look up to. And actually the program I'm in now, the mentorship program I'm in now, it's a group mentorship program, but I've followed this gal for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I also have kind of in the space of healthy living and gardening and all of that, there's a gal that I found right before the pandemic and have been watching her, and she's starting to share about her health journey. And so when she said, I'm doing this, I go, okay, I've been researching that and now you're doing it. Okay. I trust that that's a good direction. And it's just kind of funny because, as a content creator, so to speak, of myself, you go, oh, people might actually be like looking at me, and it's a different perspective that we're in this amazing space where we can actually mentor each other and not even necessarily know, and also find mentors that will give us information that we can trust and research and all that. So
Yeah, I think your point is perfect for what we were talking about next too. And I actually think I am going to add how to be a mentor at the end too. But I do think what you're saying, Amanda, is perfect because how do you seek out mentorship, right? How do you go about that? And so you're saying, you followed somebody and then you've invested now with them. And
You got to know who you're following. So you said you did your research. You'd already known this person is worth following.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true in all mentorship programs, whether it's a program that you enter into or it's trying to find someone. I mean, it's always, especially if it's anything where you're dealing maybe with more emotional level of things to try and have healing or whatnot. It's like, do that research, make sure it's a trusted source.
Yes.
Make sure you cross balance check all the things, because you don't want to just following that person over the cliff.
Right, absolutely. And I find for me, I've kind of, because I'm out there, but I've met mentors through networking events and so forth, and doing different activities, and again researching, finding little, and even having coffee conversations with people and getting to know them. So get a feel about who they are and that kind of thing. So
yeah, I think if you want to learn anything new, or you're trying to, maybe there's something you're just trying to get better at, or you're trying to maybe even what I call level up your life, it's helpful to find somebody who's maybe a few steps ahead of you, even that you can, learn from and model, so that what you said earlier, you're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, you don't need to spend time to do that. Most things have been done before.
Right.
So finding those people that you can reach out to, and whether it's reading their book or joining their program or whatever. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
My greatest mentor was my mom.
Yeah.
And,
you had a great mom.
I did. I was very blessed. And, but she took it seriously, that every lesson, everything that happened was kind of a life lesson, and she led by example, and she, I saw her cry, which, the first time you see your mom cry, you're like, what? What's going on?
Moms cry?
But actually, so she was very, exhibited very real, just taking life as a human in this space, and how can we do this and depend on God and love others. And so I think that I tried to take that approach with my children as well, that in a family you've got that close relationship, which then is just grounds for all kinds of learning. Things come up, you can learn and grow from it, and it's probably going to come up again. So you get to practice it.
Right.
Right.
It's like training your children. You teach them something, and you hope they do it again so they can get that reinforced.
They will.
Right. They will. Right.
Yes.
Training.
Yes. Exactly.
I love it. You were gonna say something, Amanda.
I think it probably dovetails into being a mentor. But one of the things that there's some really amazing organizations around here, for business networking, but there's so much more to it. And I think the whole premise of lift as you rise, or lift as you grow, or there's different ways of phrasing it, but that it should be our responsibility as someone who is growing and learning and scaling or shifting in their business or their life, that then you go and you give that hand down to pull someone up, so that as you're going up, they're coming up to their next level, and learning from your experience. And I mean, I think that's just obviously the crux of mentorship. It should be from the heart of, I've done this, and it's kind of like what we do with our children. Okay, I made these mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, but try and learn from the mistakes I did make. Even if you make similar mistakes, how can you even shift how you deal with it? Because I think there's definitely mistakes I made in my life that like, how do you deal with it? How do you come to terms with it? And it's like, then bringing in people to help you through that is really, really important. So
I have a friend who puts it that our children stand on our shoulders and they can reach higher, than we did, the next generation, and they learn from our mistakes and don't make the same mistakes. But like how you said, if they do, they at least knew how we handled it and they can try a different approach.
They can go about that way.
Absolutely.
I think it's really key to know, because I have these conversations with coaches, but a coach is a mentor. It's a type of mentorship.
Yes.
But one of the things that I love to teach is we all think that it takes, like, you have to have this perfect life to be a mentor, but that's not true. It's you're a few steps ahead of somebody on something that you can help them with. But even with that, I would also put that cautionary tale. I feel like for me, what I've learned is that I need to know what I need so that, if I need counseling or I need this or that, I can be aware of that. But also as a mentor, knowing what I can help with and what I have the capacity for. I know I'm not a counselor. I'm not good at it. I don't have the patience for it. I love to talk to people and have conversations. But if we're not having a focused forward solutions-based type conversation, I'm just not good at that. And I know that about myself. So I can know, like, oh man, I feel like, counseling might be a way better move for you. Let's, find it. So what my job is to be a resource and to have those resources to share. So then in that way I am mentoring them, but I'm also understanding my own inabilities, like my own capacity, because I don't want to steer someone the wrong way either. Right. So I think that's just as important, knowing what you are unable to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's just that scope of where you're at and where you need to draw the line of, like you said, okay, nope, I need to get you some professional help or get you someone else with a different perspective. Absolutely. So
yeah. Any other thoughts on how to be a mentor? I think that
I've kind of found myself in some weird, I won't say weird, but my journey where people have reached out to me, just watching me and my journey kind of thing. So I don't know necessarily how to be a mentor, but I have learned just to be my authentic self though. And I'm learning how to just share and be the true of who I am, I guess. And then things will come about, and then you just kind of, it ends up, things align, I guess, is what I found. And then the people that have helped me, then again, finding those resources and doing that, so forth, and that kind of thing. It's been important to just kind of keep that mental Rolodex of those people. And then again, knowing your boundaries and what you can have a scope of and so forth, like obviously going to certain things, like I only know how to do this kind of things, but I definitely have resources like, hey, and being that resource and that mentor is important too, whether how small or large scale it is. So
I love that.
Showing up.
Yeah. I actually love that. I think showing up as your authentic self is one of the most important things for being a mentor.
Yeah. Because you never know. You never know who's watching. You never know. I mean, now with so much that's online, you just never know.
Right.
And I don't think I'm an expert, but I know some things.
Yeah.
Right? I've been through a journey. I have some wisdom and learning from that. And I know that I can always learn and grow more. Yeah. But I also have things to share.
Yeah. Yeah. Hence the Patty Lynn Show.
Yes. Well, and I think for G.A.L.S, I mean, that's one of the biggest elements behind G.A.L.S is that, we can come together, we can find those that align with us, that we connect with, and then that's kind of, I think, where you develop mentorships. And sometimes mentorships can be more of like you're with someone that's an equal, but you're doing life together. You're kind of, but that's where more of that accountability comes in play, because even if you're on a similar plane, you still bring different experiences to the table, and so you can do life together, and it's kind of that collaborative mentorship
Yes.
that you can bring into that
Yes.
space.
Yeah.
But I also think part of that whole process is that you have to also be willing to be coached or
Yeah,
willing
teachable.
to be teachable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was the acronym used to be FAT, so it's
Okay.
faithful, accountable, teachable. So
Ah.
when you're in a space that you can be those things, that's actually when change can happen. So it's good. That's a good
Yes.
FAT to be.
Yes, I like that a lot.
Maybe we can come up with a G.A.L.S acronym or something.
I
I
know.
love it. I love it.
But
it's
you know what
true.
it sticks with
what?
you.
Yeah, and it really is true. I think a lot of times that even like as a teacher or when you're the mentor and you learn things from your mentee, you know?
Absolutely.
So you,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
from my children who have been raised in a whole different generation and, you know, the emotional intelligence and the feel your feels instead of the 80s, you know, suck it up buttercup, you know? So, you know,
Yeah,
like
I
I am
struggle with
learning
that.
so much. I know.
Yeah.
I struggle
It's a
with
whole
that
different
one
thought, but
Suck it up, Buttercup.
And I think
Yes.
one at a speaking engagement we went to this week, I think they said you're never too old to learn and too
Yes.
young to teach.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was that said that, but
I
Or
feel
who-
like that mentality keeps you young in mind. I
Mhm.
love that.
Well,
Always
growing,
get.
like not stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Wow. This was already a great conversation. I feel like we could talk about this for
We could.
a long
Yeah.
time.
We
We
could
could
just
almost
keep
have a whole conference just on this, really.
okay, let's.
So before we end, does anyone have anything else they want to share really quickly to like, or any other thoughts on this?
So I think we
Yeah.
covered it pretty well.
Okay, so wow, yeah, make sure you guys join us next month. We have another fantastic topic. It'll probably be my favorite as well. Always my favorite. Always. But thank you for joining us. Of course, if you're watching us from YouTube, make sure that you find our free group on Facebook. We would love to have you. We've always got new things happening there. And of course, subscribe, like, comment. We will be watching all the things, as Patty Lynn says. Yeah,
Like,
over,
subscribe,
yeah.
join. What else? Comment.
Yes, yes, please do. And we look forward to having you guys with us next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.